Yep. And what was crazy about these trophies is we were like, I don't have that kind of data. Like, I don't have the data of who runs nitrous, who runs small tire. I don't have that stuff in the sheet. So it was like an auction. Okay, who had the quickest carburetor? And people were like, I ran a 1030. And then Troy's like, I ran an 887. Like, come get this thing. Same thing for the quickest small tire.
Tom Taylor came in with 2 perfect matching time slips. How often does that happen?
No, rarely, very rarely.
Bobby Bell.
Guys, you're not looking at Eric over there. You're looking at Pro as the guest co-host tonight. I'm so excited. Guys, welcome to episode 112 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, it's going to be a crazy show. All right, racers and high-performance enthusiasts, you better love that Adam from MAHLE Motorsports drove all the way from North Carolina to be at the circuit 2025. Are you ready to start your next engine build like John Doherty is when he won the drawing for a Power Pack piston kit? If so, there's no better time than now to check out the MAHLE Motorsports all-in-one Power Pack piston kit. With over 1,200 applications, these kits come complete with pistons, rings, wrist pins, and clips designed to work together. MAHLE Motorsports Power Pack piston kits take out all the guesswork. No more trying to determine if a piston will need this ring to work with a certain cylinder size. MAHLE Motorsport did all the engineering so you can get to the part that matters, building a power plant that leads to victory lane. Visit MAHLEmotorsport.com for details. And for all of you podcast listeners, MAHLE is spelled M-A-H-L-E. All right, so let's run through some circuit winners. Now, these aren't in order. If I have photos of people up here, be glad I do. I was throwing them in. It was late. I worked on other stuff today too. So big shout out to Troy Meek, who took home I think he is actually the first one. Yeah, you can see it here on the right side of the screen. He took home the WAF Racing quickest carbureted car with an 887 average. Dude, that car is so cool too. It's the orange fastback Mustang. You guys will know it the minute you see it. And then I don't have a picture of the next one if you want to read it there, sir.
One more time.
Yeah, I was saying I don't have a picture of the next winner.
Okay.
The next one up there. I'm sure you probably lost your spot in the notes there. I'll hit it for you.
I have lost my spot entirely. Are we starting?
Hey, that's okay.
Quickest nitrous small tire?
That's it.
Quickest nitrous small tire presented by Is it Shahan Performance?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nico Cristoferi.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Nico. Yep. And what was crazy about these trophies is we were like, I don't have that kind of data. Like, I don't have the data of who runs nitrous, who runs small tire. I don't have that stuff in the sheet. So it was like an auction. Okay, who had the quickest carburetor? And people were like, I ran a 1030. And then Troy's like, I ran an 887. Like, come get this thing. Same thing for the quickest small tire. 4-Eyed Performance and Johnny Allen Media gave up the biggest wheelie trophy and $500, dude. So Chuck Connect, the lone motorcyclist, took that one home.
That's a fitting award for a motorcycle right there.
Yeah.
Best bowler, Josh Odom with a score of 209.
Yep, we heard rumors there was a 225, but had no proof. Josh did the right thing and took photos. He knew exactly.
I wish I would have went bowling with you guys.
Oh, I know, man. That'd have been awesome. Scavenger hunt winners, Robert and Tammy Catron. Big shout out to them. Tammy was telling hilarious stories about making Robert turn around and keep going back to get photos, which is exactly what the scavenger hunt was supposed to do. And then Seth and Gabriel Pennington took runner-up in that. Man, they worked their butts off. And a big honorable mention to Austin J and his co-pilot, who would have won, but they were about 10 minutes too late getting to the facility. So, that's the way it goes sometimes.
That's the truth. Speaking of coming in late, slowest overall presented by Stone Cipher Racing was Mike Baker with a 1785.
Yeah, slow rig. But he towed a big camper all weekend and had the family with him. So bring it on. Quickest female by Morrow Photography, Miss Danny Odom, Josh's wife, ran a 10604.
Tailgate Shootout, you're looking at David Bell with a 566 and Dustin Cottle with a 574.
Yeah, so super close race for the last one there for sure. 668 index, Mr. Jeff Mass won that one in the Plymouth Valiant. That was probably, I don't know, man, that was the top 3 car for me. Super cool. It's like late model. It's like a 5.7 out of a 90s truck with a turbo on it. And the car just set right, was rusty, and was fast.
Everybody has a favorite regardless of the event.
Yeah.
You versus you. There were 57 cars in you versus you. Tom Taylor came in in with 2 perfect matching time slips. How often does that happen?
No, rarely, very rarely.
Bobby Bell came in with a .001 differential, and Travis Boltman came in third with a .002 differential. That's a tight group right there.
Crazy tight. So talking to Tom, he said that he made 7 passes to get that time. Now, obviously, these are run on Sunday, so that's kind of, like you're one day to run all those, which running 7 passes is still a lot, but it was the first and last pass that he ran that on, which is pretty awesome. The top 11 racers were less than 100th apart.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So DYO stuff, U versus U is what we call that class. It was based just like the SICK events. It does the spread of your quickest and slowest pass. So pretty intense stuff. Next year, we're not going to have that tight of a class because we're going to be racing in 3 days. 12.0 index. Bo Denny won that with a 12.014 average and won a free Rocky Mountain Raceweek 12.0 index entry. How cool is that Rocky Mountain gave that to us?
That's I don't know if everybody understands. Everybody who watches your show understands how much that is, but that's a pretty healthy award right there.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then 11.0 index, Mr. Jan Haas, all the way from Nebraska, drove the truck down. 11.0 index chose to run their class on Saturday and Sunday both once Mocan got back open. 11.12 average. He also won a free entry into Rocky Mountain Raceweek 11.0 index, and he was followed by Braden Taylor with an 11.16 average. So 0.04 of a second separated those guys.
That's a tight race.
Yeah.
All motor small block. You're looking at CJ Phillips coming in first with a 10.69. Ellie Johnson coming in with a 10.86 for second.
Mm-hmm. And then Gasser Hot Rod. This year we combined those classes and combined Power Adder and NA. So it's probably not as fair for the NA guys, but that's the way we did it this year. I will look at a different setup next year. Troy Meek won that one with an 8.87 average. And then Patrick Melson, our winner from last year, who didn't finish last year, creating a crazy situation where it was a last man standing award for the winner. Patrick Melson did finish this year 10.25 average.
Wow. Quick stick. You're looking at Phil, man. You get me every time with him. Balmaceda with a 10.96, and Malachi Fox coming in second with an 11.11 average.
Yeah. Big shout out to Phil. It's first year for him to attend the circuit, and then Malachi was our winner last year. So they were really duking it out, man. They were trying. All motor big block, David Miller, 931, who sent me a message earlier wanting me to give him a shout out to, or wanting to give a shout out to Steven for helping on the roadside. And then also that dude, he just got down. All motor big block, and then our boy, John Doherty. To take second place in all motor big block.
Always awesome to see the guys do well. Motorcycle class, you're looking at, is it Chuck Connect? 11.27 average.
Yep. And then street race power adder, my favorite class that's out there. This is your 850 boys. Brian Actton made like 6 passes on Sunday. Had really no reason to. We just didn't know where everybody else stood in the class. Brian Actton, 3-peat winner of the class, 8.64 with a 1 average. And Cody Coots taking second place with an 8.97, which is actually our quickest second place for that class. We are talking about some stuff to bring out some more 850 hitters for next year already.
Excellent. 668 index. You're looking at Scott Barker with a .025 differential, and you're looking at Josh, is it Tweehouse?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I
never
heard
the right way to say it, and he was already gone by the time he would have picked up the trophy.
He had a .112 differential coming in second in that class.
Yep, and 668 is an interesting index, and I know people are like, why the heck did you do that? But that was a floating index. If you were watching, we talked about this the last couple of weeks, but those guys actually drew, if they wanted a different number other than 650, they would actually pay $50 to donate to the youth services of Tulsa and write the number they wanted on there. And our boy Keaton Maxon, who's one of the people behind that class, paid the $50, wrote 668, and ends up doing it. So ends up his number was drawn. Yep. Chris Paget, sponsor of the class with Paget Performance, comes out and wins it. Says, "Bring it on, guys! I want some competition." 6.075 out of that 8th mile class. Seth Pennington in a 4-door CTS-V, 7.004 average for him.
Small tire, you had John Ketch coming in first with a 5.789, and then you had Corey Noble in second with a 6.317.
Yep, Corey Noble's neighbor to you there in Pea Ridge, I think.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, He's been supporting the circuit for a long time. I want to say it was great to see him back out. He now has a 5-inch exhaust dump that comes to his hood, and I'm in lust. It was it's pretty awesome, and that car was super cool. In the unlimited class, Jim Parkinson, 543 with an 8 average, and then Josh Rich in a brand new 21 miles on it whenever he pulled into the facility, 644 average for that. Now, if you guys have not been following for a long time, the circuit for our shirts always chooses the quickest quarter mile and quickest eighth mile cars to feature on the next year's shirt. Well, if you're paying attention to these numbers that just went by, Brian Actton is back on the shirt again, and Jim Parkinson is back on the shirt again with the cars they were on from last year. So we're going to get creative. We're going to have some fun, and I can't wait to see what we do with that. But listen, I'm putting a bounty on those dudes. We're going to figure out some way to put a bounty on them because I don't want them on the shirt the next year.
Final award to talk about tonight.
Hang on. Yeah, hang on. I want to do it. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm going to pull your thunder. So
I think that's the minimal I've screwed up tonight. So I think we're good.
The Spirit of Drag and Drive Award. This is something that's important to everybody for everything. You guys know these style trophies and awards are given at each event, and it goes to someone that embodies the lifestyle, right?
Right.
When the awards came around, I did not have suggestions at that point. Sadly for the circuit, I was blowing past the routes and driving as fast as I could to get to the end stop so people could get there, so we could give as big of a party as we could to each one. So at the end of the event, after the awards, I asked for people to give their suggestions, and several folks came up and several folks messaged me after they were on their way home and thinking about this. So the Spirit of Drag and Drive Award from the Circuit 2025 goes to our boy Robert Voss, Camp Counselor Bob, who stepped into this role having never camped at a drag and drive and absolutely killed it. So I want to say personally thank you to him for all of the help. This camp counselor deal did exactly what I was hoping it would, which was basically give the folks that were camping a party. There's a lot of times where the campers just show up at the track and they just go right to bed. There's no gathering of people. There's no conversations and things like that. And Camp Counselor Bob pulled that out of them. He kept people awake longer than they probably should have some nights and made sure everybody had a good time. So I want to say from me personally, thank you very much. And then from the entire team at Drag Driver Pete and the circuit that was there working, thank you as well. And I hope you enjoy winning this. You and I will get together in the next few weeks and I'll get this delivered. It's too heavy to ship, and I don't want it to mess it up at all. So, and also big shout out to Rodney Reeves who built this and brought it up to us from Louisiana. So thank you so much to him for putting such care into something. When you see it, you're gonna absolutely love it. And anyways, round of applause for Camp Counselor Bob from around the room, please.
Robert did a great job of working social media as well and letting everybody know exactly where they needed to go to stay dry, to stay warm, whatever. I was keeping up with a lot of that on social media as he was posting.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Like he truly got down in the nitty gritty with it. It did exactly what we were wanting him to do. Oh, hey, Josh says it's Tweehouse.
Tweehouse. My apologies.
Gotcha. Yep. Sorry, seeing some comments here. I know we were probably going through these pretty quick as we were running through all that stuff, but it's pretty awesome. David Maxon here saying, sounds like 650-ish floating index is here to stay. I would do it. Again, I thought it was a lot of fun. And then Josh Rich, I'll vote Robert in. He went and got me shampoo. That's awesome. So again, thank you so much for everybody that made comments, everybody that was there at the circuit, all that kind of stuff. And then Robert says I'll be in Tulsa in a few weeks, so we'll get together then, buddy. I'm excited. I'll buy you lunch. So pretty cool. I'll put this somewhere that's like on my mantle.
Keep a hold of it for a while, someplace where it looks
small
good
light shining on it, so people driving by see it. It's like a Christmas tree up there. Yeah,
hell yes.
Lowry saying he also brought the party to Waffle House. He certainly did that as well. We had Waffle House quite a bit. All right. In this segment here, we're going to talk with Derek Putnam, who just stepped up to probably go to the bathroom. It's like, dude, I've been sitting here for 30 minutes waiting on you guys to get to me. And, now you bring me in. So he'll be back in just a minute when he is.
This is part of the process. If you've got a guest, you figure this out pretty quick.
Well, and Derek knows I'm a rambler. So thank you to Molly for driving all the way out from North Carolina. I really appreciate him doing that. They didn't have to do that at all. They could have just sent banners and been fine. But I appreciate them being there. They raised $1,075 with the Power Pack Piston giveaway. Again, John Doherty won that. I appreciate that. $1,000, dude. Like people bought bought tickets to win that, and that all that money went to the youth services of Tulsa. So big shout out to MAHLE. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the program here at Drag Driver Pete and all that stuff that goes on over there. And this weekend was full of it with all of our race car friends that were at the circuit 2025. We had a blast. We can't do this without you guys. I don't know if you know that or not. I know I say it every time, but I hope you're listening for the first time right here, because it was amazing. It was awesome to have the time during the racer parties, the block party, to just spend some time with people. I know we don't typically get to do that with the Drag and Drive. We look at it a little differently over at the circuit and try and give people a ton of time that they can spend together. So thank you for being a race car friends. Hit the share button as we go in here. Thank you so much to our sponsors for Drag Driver Pete. We really appreciate you guys. I can't say it enough. Without them, we couldn't do what we do right here. We attend like 12 or 15 events a year. We buy equipment. We do all the stuff we can do. It's because of these guys right here. So as you are shopping for parts, please hit up Summit Racing, DeatschWerks, MAHLE Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, who saved my butt and got us back on the road for the circuit, JayWire Solutions, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Yes, if you're trying to spend some money, spend it over there.